Many thanks for your company here. Now, Deputy Minister for Energy, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, is calling on metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to stop commercial and private developers from building close to petroleum and LPG filling stations. Dr. Adam believes it's unfair to ask such stations to relocate in cases where they were built before any other development in their immediate vicinity. The Deputy Minister was speaking at the launch of a safety campaign by the National Petroleum Authority.
The recent petroleum-related explosions should remind us vividly about the enormity of our responsibility. Mr. Chairman, in spite of the dangers of poor safety and regulatory regimes, our regulators continue to allow special interests to undermine their enforcement of safety regulations, putting the lives of people and property on the line, and consequently projecting the petroleum industry as most insensitive, irresponsible, and only motivated by profits. Ladies and gentlemen, we must act now. Mr. Chairman, industry players also tend to view regulators as unnecessarily worrying them, and in many instances have ignored regulatory directives. Industry players must therefore live up to their responsibility of protecting the very people who buy their products and patronize their services. I would therefore like to encourage industry players to take the bold step of formulating industry safety standards through industry associations and begin to peer review each other and, where necessary, delist your peers who are not keeping up to the standards you have set for yourselves. This will not only complement the role of our regulators, but will embolden them to take decisive disciplinary actions against offending industry players based on your own recommendations.
An Accra High Court has dismissed an injunction application filed by some aggrieved workers of the ECG seeking to put on hold the implementation of the agreement that will lead to private sector participation in the management of the company. The workers dragged government to court, insisting they should be paid redundancy packages as implementation of the Millennium Challenge Compact will see workers of the company transferred to the private one that will be managing the ECG. Government, through the Attorney General, opposed the application, insisting the transfer of workers was legal under the labor laws and that government will suffer quote-unquote serious hardship if the application is granted. John Uses Akable was in court and joins us on the phone with more. Hello, Joseph.
Hello, Bennett.
Now, we know that these workers tried negotiating with government and then proceeded to court when that didn't work. What's their reaction to this ruling?
Well, for most of the workers, in fact, we have been told that about 1,001 of them are the faces behind this action that has been initiated against a government. They appear unhappy about the decision coming in from the court because, as far as they are concerned, they would have preferred that the court had put the ongoing implementation of the compact on hold pending a determination of the substantive suit as to whether they deserve the redundancy package they are requesting for or they do not deserve that. The point the justice who presided over the matter made was that the court was not at a stage where it was to determine whether they deserved it or not. But what it was to determine was whether there's an important matter that has to be tried. That's the first issue. The second issue is whether if the injunction is granted or not granted, which side stands to suffer irreparable damage, in which case the court held that it appears that government will be suffering more because so much money has been pumped into the entire agreement by the Millennium Challenge Corporation, and implementation was at an advanced stage. So the judge held that whatever be the case, if I decide not to grant the injunction and later on it turns out to be the case that you indeed deserve a redundancy package, all what government will have to do is to make the payments to you. In this case, if I grant it, what happens? The whole monies that have been expended already in terms of meetings, and the process of negotiations to determine who takes over as the concessionaire are all brought to a standstill, and in which case it affects the entire process. So the judge said that for which reason she decided not to grant the application for the interlocutory injunction as being demanded by workers of ECG.
Interesting, Joseph. So what does this ruling mean for the whole process?
So what it means is that government can't go ahead with the process that is already implemented, and that has to do with identifying the companies. We know that something has already taken place. About 6 companies were shortlisted, with the number being thrown down to 2. So that process can't continue. And whilst the matter rages on court, if at any point there's any decision that is coming in, it will enable whatever compensation or otherwise will be decided by government. But as it stands, government has been given the green light to continue engagement with regards to implementing the Millennium Tariff Compact. That in simple terms allows for private sector participation in the work of the Electricity Company of Ghana.
All right, Joseph, I'll have you hold on a bit because you've been following a story about 26 Togolese and Ghanaian nationals who were arrested on Saturday for staging an unlawful demonstration at around Nima here in Accra. And now they've been slapped with 3 charges before an Accra Circuit Court. They were picked up at the Kaukudi Park by officers of the Greater Accra Regional Command while staging a demonstration against the President of Togo, Fonya Singbe. It forms part of a series of actions by dissatisfied Togolese to press home their demand for constitutional reforms in the country. They were today charged with conspiracy to commit crime, with failure to inform police of an event, and also offensive conduct. The plea of 19 of them were taken, with all pleading not guilty to all the 3 charges. The plea of a minor and 6 others who told the court they can only speak French and Hausa. That's yet to be taken by the court. So Joseph, quickly, just wrap up what happened in court today for us.
So as I speak to you now, Benis, the hearing is on hold as the chief interpreter for the judicial service is making frantic efforts to identify a French interpreter and also a Hausa interpreter to assist the other individuals who have told the court they cannot communicate in either English, which had an English interpreter available on Tree, or that of FM, which they said they could also communicate in. In simple terms, their pleas have been taken. 19 of them have pleaded not guilty to the 3 charges slapped against them. So the court is waiting. Their lawyer, Eduji Tamakulo, is also present in court. What we are expecting to happen is that once the plea of the other individuals are taken, he's supposed to make an application for bail, after which the court will decide whether to grant that application or not to grant it. So that is what we are waiting for now.
All right, Joseph, when this case was initially reported, the information on the identity of these persons was quite scanty. Do we know who they are now?
Their names have been mentioned. It's only one notable name that has come up. She used to be a former managing director of the Global Media Alliance. She is the only person who is identifiable in terms of the names that are. But the other individuals are unknown individuals. They are not persons who are known in the public space. Yet all of them have been arraigned before the courts, different backgrounds, all residents in Ghana, but are Togolese who have been arraigned before the court. All
right, thank you very much for the updates, Joseph Akablay there. Away from the court, it came as a big blow to government when IT experts revealed the software hosting Ghana's hyped digital address system was defective and open to abuse. Many were worried that criminals would access their information from the app and use it against them. Well, that happened last week. Now, government has launched a massive fight back to that claim. In fact, its agency responsible for the rollout of the new GPS system, GhanaPost, are dismissing the claims. They say the system shows no sign of entry from a third-party source, and any attempt to hack into the system will be treated as a criminal case. Deputy Managing Director in charge of Finance and Administration, Kweku Tebi Amponsa, has been speaking to Presidential Affairs correspondent Elton Probe.
So the GhanaPost GPS was launched some few days ago, almost 2 weeks ago, and it is to afford people the opportunity to have their own digital address system. Now, there's been some criticisms about security, about some of the issues I would like to, dig deeper into. Mr. Kweku Amponsa is a Deputy Managing Director in charge of Finance and Administration here at GhanaPost, and is going to walk us into the system and to respond to some of the issues that have come up in the public domain. Mr. Amponsa, good morning and welcome to Joy News.
Good morning, my brother.
All right, so first, the question will be, do we really need a digital addressing system?
Thank you. Yes, we need a digital addressing system as a country. As the president has indicated, we need to digitize the economy. In an attempt to formalize the economy, we are starting with a digital addressing system for every individual, for institutions to have a digital address, which will be the basis to have the national ID and to do other stuff that will help digitize the economy.
So this product was launched some days ago. What has been the response from your end?
It's been great so far. We've had a lot of people downloading the app, and we're excited that people are interested in knowing the app and want to use the app. We will want to engage as many people as possible to make sure that every Ghanaian everywhere in the country knows about the app and can use it.
So, question is this new or this one an existing app that has just been renamed?
For us, it's a new app for Ghana. We've never had a digital system. The app is the front end. There are other gadgets at the back end to store and keep addresses that will be used by Ghanaians. This is the first of its kind in Ghana. There could be some elsewhere outside Ghana, but this is the first of its kind for Ghana as a nation.
I asked that question because there's been some criticism in the media about the fact that what we have already existed, we've only renamed it, and it cost the taxpayer almost $2.5 million. How do you respond to this?
Okay. We've also heard that, but my comment on what you're asking is that Vocacom, the supplier, had its own application which it developed at a cost it determined. Okay. We wanted, or Ghana government wanted, an addressing system for Ghana and opened it up for institutions, for developers to apply. Okay. We got a couple of institutions applying. We went through national tendering and we ended up with the Vocacom one. Okay. The Vocacom as a company had mapped even beyond Ghana, but we were interested in having a system for Ghana, which we call the GhanaPost GPS.
Right. And so this 2.5 was actually for the contract itself, the $2.5 million.
In Ghana cedis, it is 9.9 million Ghana cedis. There are a few cedis, it's not up to 10 million. For convenience, at a point, it was converted into dollars, but the actual sum is 9.9 million Ghana cedis, which includes other stuffs like VAT, for instance. VAT is inclusive. It includes tagging of about 4,000 government buildings all across the country. It includes, for instance, marketing costs and other costs.
Right. But we've also been told of another 3.5 million Ghana that is doing the rounds. And for some people, it is a publicity fee. Is that what it is?
It's for marketing and other campaigns that is embedded in the contract. So it is not outside the 9.9 million cedis.
And why is that different from the original cost?
I'm trying to understand your question. If you say original cost, what do you mean by original cost? Because the 9.9 million includes this figure you just mentioned of about 3.6 million. So it is not an additional cost. It is a cost within the 9.9 million Ghana cedis.
Right. So what we have is that the 9.9, the 3.5 is part of the 9.9. It's not an additional cost that is associated with the product.
Yes, it is within the 9.9 million. We are so this includes the teasers, includes billboards here and there. It includes the adverts on radio. Part of the cost, part of the money is to be spent by NCC to do campaign to educate people throughout all the country.
Away from this, there's been concerns about security loopholes as far as this app is concerned, and some have even said that they are able to hack onto the system and make changes to some of the information that you have. How have you addressed this particular issue?
It has not come to my notice personally that somebody has been able to hack and has been able to make changes to the system. Issue of hacking has to do with legality. So if somebody is able to do that, then I'm sure the appropriate courts will have to look at what the person did. From my interaction with the suppliers, I'm not aware somebody has made changes to the system. But hacking is illegal, so I will not encourage anybody to do that, to try to do that. The system is secured. So far, we've not had any issues. We've mentioned a couple of times that the system is kept at a secure location, and it will be kept at a secure location with multiple firewalls that people will not be able to easily access unless somebody intentionally set somewhere to do everything possible to get access to the data. It is not going to be.
You're watching Joy News Today with me, Bernice Abubedi. Just gone by, National Petroleum Authority says it will shut down 45 fuel stations across the country for non-adherence to safety standards. Also, court dismisses application by aggrieved workers to quash ongoing processes to privatize the Electricity Company of Ghana. Still to come, Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa, George Boateng, has been criticized by some Ghanaians for discriminatory comments he made while addressing some TESCON members at the Kumasi Technical University. We'll bring you details shortly after this breather. Thanks for staying here on Joy News Today. Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa, George Boateng, has come under heavy fire for discriminatory comments he made at a meeting of the Tertiary Education Students Conference, TESCON, in Kumasi Technical University over the weekend. And Mr. Boateng stated he will give priority to NPP members over other Ghanaians while giving job opportunities. This, however, is not the first time that leading members of the ruling party have made such statements. Here's a report on this.
The New Patriotic Party set an agenda for jobs in 2016 as they campaigned vigorously for a change in government. After winning the mandate to rule, President Akufo-Addo gave strong indications that all Ghanaians, no matter their lineage or political affiliation, fully benefit from state resources.
We must restore integrity in public life. State coffers are not spoiled for the party that wins an election, but resources for the country's social and economic development. I ask you to be citizens. Citizens, not spectators. Citizens, not subjects. Responsible citizens, building your communities and our nation. I will serve the public interest with courage. I will speak for greater justice as well as compassion. And I will call for responsibility. And I will live it as well. This is my solemn pledge. Thank the Almighty that I'm able to say with pride, I am a Ghanaian.
However, comments from leading members of the MPP seem contrary to what the president has been preaching. Here is Acting General Secretary John Boadu.
There are others that didn't believe that the MPP can deliver. There are others when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo over the years was saying that there's a need for us to have free SHS. There are others that didn't believe. So if now we are implementing it and there will be one hot meal per school, you want me to give the contract to an NDC person who didn't believe it? No, we will give it to somebody who believes in the program and policy so that we can deliver our objective. That's all that we are talking about. So it is, for instance, the NDC had had implemented the school feeding program for some time now. People are complaining about it. Their term of office has ended. The term has ended. So if they are recruiting different caterers, obviously, MPP people, as we are, we even know how to cook better. You understand? So there's nothing wrong in getting our people to be part of this government program, especially where our people are the ones who believe in Akufo-Addo's vision, who believe in the MPP vision.
And now, George Ayisi Boateng, the president representative in South Africa.
The job market is choked and it is highly competitive. This government is doing its best to create job opportunities. And me, for instance, I told my people over there that my first meeting with them, I told them that it is because of MPP that I'm here. So MPP man is my priority. I told them when NDC was in power, it was Kwesi Ahoy who was there. Now we are in power, so I see what things here with you. My topmost priority is the problem of an MPP person before any other Ghanaian. Take it or leave it. And they marvel. And I said it. If I have my way, every job opportunity that will come to go to a TESCOM member before any other person. And I know my colleague appointees also have the same feeling, except that because of IMF, we cannot do anything now. So a TESCOM member is my priority. MPP member is my priority. Before any other Ghanaian. We are all Ghanaians, but some are more Ghanaians than others.
Well, Love FM's Prince Appiah has been sampling some views from the streets of Kumasi about this latest development.
It was a very bad comment he made, because we have gone to the election, we voted, we know who came to power, and it's Nana Addo. So now that we have finished voting, we are all Ghanaians. We don't have MPP government. We don't have any government. We are all Ghanaians. So
I don't support him because we are all Ghanaians. So we are talking about Ghanaians, not NDC and MPP. So I don't support him. Yeah.
They need some position to help their mouth to. So if they happen them something, maybe it can be good for us.
So you think what he said is right?
Yeah, it's true. Maybe I take it.
All right.
The High Commissioner is there for all the Ghanaians. But since you say you employ the MPP members before the Ghanaians, that means you are there for only the MPPs. But not that. Since you are Ghanaian and you are using the Ghanaian money to pay you there, Ghanaian money to do everything for you there, you are there for the whole Ghana. And he want to say that to promise the MPP members.
Oh, I think he shouldn't have made that statement because we are all Ghanaians, and when a position is being shared out, it shouldn't be partisan, but it should be patriotic, so that the normal Ghanaians, everyone will know that we are not like any identity.
It is good. I like the man you speak. The way the man you speak, I like it.
Why? Why do you like it?
Maybe you're thinking about the country.
Those were some views there from the streets of Kumasi. Meanwhile, Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has released a statement condemning the High Commissioner's utterances. He joins me on the line with more. Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for your time.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Great. We've seen your statement. You are not pleased by the comment made by the Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa. But people think it's quite hypocritical for you to come out the way you did, considering they claim that this is something that cuts across the political landscape and it's not only an MPP affair.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to distinguished viewers and your good self.
Thank you.
You did indicate that I am a deputy ranking member. I am the ranking member, not the deputy.
All right, thank you.
My deputy is the Honorable Master Wood.
Sure.
So let's have an understanding. the statements by His Excellency George A.C. Boateng cannot be defended. It cannot be justified in any way. I am not aware of any ambassador in our history, a diplomat, who has spoken this way or who has done the things he says he is doing. So there can be no justification to say that you have told your staff, the Foreign Service staff at the High Commission, that you are here for the MPP. You are here to solve problems of MPP members. Other Ghanaians can wait. Then you add in the same breath that to you, we are all Ghanaians, but there are some who are more Ghanaian than others. Shocking. Shocking. I am not aware of any public official, any public officer, any ambassador who has uttered these words, which are in flagrant violation of Article 17 of our Constitution,
right?
Which enjoins all of us not to discriminate, not to treat people unequally, and to ensure that every Ghanaian is not discriminated against on grounds of gender, race, color, ethnic origin, political creed, social or economic status. So you cannot speak this way, and you cannot expect that when you have spoken this way, as a High Commissioner who is paid by all of us, taxes of everybody, whether you are MPP, NDC, PNC, CPP, all of us are taxes. That pays this High Commissioner that takes care of the bills at the High Commission. And let us remember, my dear sister, that we are discussing the High Commissioner for South Africa that has been in the news lately for xenophobic attacks. Is this High Commissioner telling us that, God forbid, if there is another xenophobic attack and Ghanaians rush to the High Commission to seek refuge, as has been the case, he is going to be standing at the gate, checking party
Mr. Blackwell, he spoke in the case. He spoke in reference to giving jobs. Briefly, if you can, tell us what your. I mean, you've spoken as an individual, but are we expecting anything from the minority in Parliament? And also, what is your committee doing with regards to this matter?
Well, I spoke on behalf of the minority. The minority leader granted me leave to issue the statement on behalf of the minority and to be the lead spokesperson on this matter, because spokesperson for Foreign Affairs. We have asked His Excellency the President to take action. This conduct is reprehensible, is unacceptable, is divisive, it is incendiary, it runs against the very grain of our Constitution and pronouncements of the President himself. And so we expect the President to recall him immediately. If he does not retract and apologize, we expect His Excellency the President to recall him immediately.
So if he apologizes...
We have also met as a minority, and we have considered our options looking at the Constitution of Ghana, the standing orders of Parliament, and we are watching the space. We are monitoring closely. If he doesn't retract and apologize, if the President does not recall him, then we will have to activate processes in Parliament to make sure that this reprehensible conduct is not repeated by any ambassador, especially as when you listen to the tape, he says that there are some colleagues who think like him. I doubt if there are any ambassadors who think like him, but we must make sure that this does not go unpunished.
All right, Mr. Blackwell, so if he apologizes, you're fine, he can maintain his job, is it?
Yeah, if he apologizes and retracts and shows remorse. What we have heard is that this morning he has been justifying his statements and standing by his statements. Clearly, this is an attitude which is not remorseful, and it will require the President to step in. If you look at what the Deputy Agric Minister said, it comes nowhere near what His Excellency A.C. Boateng has said. So you cannot compel the Deputy Agric Minister to resign and then you hail His Excellency A.C. Boateng in the same breath.
Thank you very much.
Equal under the Constitution. No Ghanaian is more Ghanaian than the other, and our leaders should not be making such statements.
We appreciate your time. Samuel Okudzeto Blackwell is the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament, speaking to us there on that issue. Away from that, cocoa articulated drivers in the Western region have issued a one-week ultimatum to Cocoa Board and the government to ensure more than 500 trucks at the commodity village are offloaded. The drivers say they have been compelled to spend weeks at the commodity village under inhumane conditions. The drivers are drawn from the produce buying company Yonkopa and Olam.
Abanu Jessica Emma company, yes, Utiamo. So I got away with me. 1 bag of 425, Utia 480 and a Mac company. It is expensive to be an Abanu Tiamo. It is what they may drive and their mammy. And so to be expensive to be a Utia. It is almost just as you can man a phone. We are balance now. No, my fat in the comedy. This out of the cousin. This is the 3 Ghana citizens. A company of BBC and I make a some more. Omo de no. That's the 3 Ghana citizens. Omo can now go no much Ghana citizens. And who be in the same the entire way near Bra can to say Sabana and say a choir and Sabaka bonus and only demonstration I
and then men fan say, be 2 weeks. Yet cocoa na be see ha, Womuni cocoa no. Ye nima de kudientia, Emma, Omuni cocoa no. Obia Suniwa, or Baba catcher, say Obia, a dine any hop. And I say, Omo best work cocoa no anywhere, ya Munti mini cocoa. Omo can be beyond there, and Yeguha. Enti ya pese abana sote ye nim de entia kokoo no da so buka numsa enti ye ma no na wotwe se ya anti bibia amfa ho a ene ye beti atua damo no besi ne etoso biem ensu a ye de bedware wa hakura ayasem ba bia ye kwa toilet ye nya enti ye sra aban no ne na sede se obeye sa adwuma na amaye no omomodia na on pressure sa nipa no no omehwe ha wonye dai amaye.
Some articulated truck drivers there appealing to government to offload their trucks containing cocoa beans. And on that note, we end this edition of Joy News today. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. We're also very interactive on Facebook and Twitter. Our name is Joy News on TV. My name is Benes Abubedu. Many thanks for your company.